I was pulling the trailer around the 73 here. This was the one that had the binding engine. It was stalling in low gear and overheating, running hot and whatnot. Then all of a sudden, pulling the trailer around, the engine started to pop. And I noticed that the head gasket's blown here. I don't know if that was from the trauma of the engine binding and it was running hot. Very possibly could be. Now I have a head gasket for it, but it's not the metal head gasket like I like to use. It came with one of the kits when I rebuilt my 61 Gravely, which I sold after 35 years of having that one. So we're gonna have to see if we can get these bolts out. I already had these two bolts out when I took the engine out. I had to take this heat shield off, and those bolts came out pretty easy, so I'm hoping the rest will come out easy. Now, I'm not crazy about using the head gasket that I have. I would much rather have the metal gasket, but if the bolts come out easy enough, it's easy enough to change if I decide I want to put the metal gasket on there. So we're gonna get set up for that, and let's see if we can get these bolts out. I started loosening up all the head bolts, and normally over by where the exhaust is here, these bolts are pretty hard to get out sometimes, and I was having trouble with this one bolt here. So what I did was I just loosened it up some, and I sprayed some acetone and transmission fluid mix that I mixed up, and I let it set overnight, and it seems to be pretty good so far. I dug out, luckily it wasn't over in the back where I keep all the Gravely parts, but I had this head gasket hanging up, and it came with one of the gasket sets that I ordered on one of the Gravely builds. I don't remember which one, but the only problem with this is I would like to get the metal gasket for it. DK tractors and stuff, if you're watching this, I'm sure you know where to get the metal one, because I used to buy the metal gaskets from the Gravely dealer, but that was years and years ago. I know you could probably get them somewhere. Yeah, I would like that, but for now we're going to put this head gasket on, and normally I would like to change all the head bolts. So far it looks like this tractor's been taken apart. I don't think the bolts will be that bad, so what I'll do is I'll take all the bolts out, and I'm going to wire wheel them on a bench grinder, on a wire wheel portion of the bench grinder, and clean them up the best I can. And then I'll get the head off, make sure we don't have any cracks or anything like that in the head or the jug, you know, the engine block itself. So I'm going to get going with that now. We'll take the head bolts out. The leak seemed to be right up here where the head gasket, where the head meets the jug here. So I took the heat shield off last night too, so I could get to these head bolts here. So far it seems like all the bolts are coming out pretty easy. I also brought the engine up to top dead center so the valves are closed, because we don't want any debris going down into the valves. So I did that first then. like I said, from the problems that this was having with the engine binding and running hot. I'm hoping that's maybe what caused the head gasket to blow out. But we'll soon find out. We'll see what's going on in here. Yeah, these bolts don't look like they're that old. I suspected somebody did, engine work on this from when I first got it. See, I got all the engine bolts out, yeah. Well, so far I'm not really seeing anything wrong with the head gasket. Well, it is a little bit, it's cleaner over here and here. The bolts were all tight. It's not that the head bolts came loose and caused any issues here. I'm just hoping the jug isn't cracked or anything like that. This is all basically pretty clean here. I'll just blow this off with some air and then I'd take the sanding disc and clean all this up. I don't know what's going on with this. I want to clean the head up real good and really check it for cracks. I cleaned everything up real good. I cleaned the head real good. I got the inside here the best I could. It's hardly even carboned up. It looks like this thing had a rebuilt, And I checked for cracks. This is the head where it was leaking out of here. And I'm not seeing really anything wrong with the head gasket, but I cleaned the surfaces real good. And I backed the piston down a little bit and looked at the cylinder wall, and that seems to look good too. Another thing I discovered is it has a 10-over piston in it. So, two things that I don't like doing is I'm using the old bolts, but the bolts are in really good condition, and I cleaned them up on a wire wheel real good. I just sprayed a coat of WD. I would like to use anti-seize on the bolts, but if this works out okay, I still want to put the metal gasket on it. So we're going to get to putting it back together now, and we'll just have to see what goes on when we start it up. So the torque is I have the torque wrench set at 20 foot-pounds for what it calls for. Better watch you don't put the head on backwards. Yes, I've done that before. these two bolts on the end have to go last because I have to put the heat shield on too. And the bolts are in really good condition. They cleaned up nice. They weren't even that dirty to begin with. So I can't visually see any cracks in the head or the block, or I can't see anything as far as that goes. The head gasket didn't look that bad to me. Could be a warped head. I don't know. We'll see. Well, that don't go there. With the cracked head, I do have heads, but I don't have this type of head. I guess it's the 7.6 worth, or 6.6. Spark plug, it comes straight up. I got the heads with the angle plug that goes in. It's a huge plug. But we're not going to jump to any conclusions with that yet. Just giving these a quick little snug here. This is the bolt here I had trouble getting out. I'll probably have trouble getting that out again. I'm just going to snug these up in the pattern that I like to use to torque the head down. And then we'll do the final tightening with the torque wrench. I sure hope this works out. I'm not hearing this thing clicking. just backed it off to like 18, which isn't enough really. Put it back to 20. And there we go. I don't know how good this torque wrench is because it's been abused quite a bit. I don't know, this thing's not clipping. I'm just going to tighten them up to where I think they're tight at 20. I admit I abuse this torque wrench sometimes, using it for a breaker bar and stuff. Just gonna go over everything one more time. They're tight as far as I know. Okay, I'm gonna put that heat shield on, put the spark plug in, and I guess we're ready to start it up and see where we stand here. Well, I guess we'll give it a try and hope for the best here. Any compression spraying out. I do want to adjust the carburetor a little bit. Now that we have I think we have all the compression. I'm going to let it warm up and let some of that stuff burn off. And then I'll be back to you. We'll see how it's doing. Most all the popping has gone away. So I just have to see what happens. It seems to be okay. I think it's all right around the lot here. It throttles up real nice and everything. Yesterday when I was pulling the trailer, when I was doing the pruning here, it was really popping really bad. But I don't know. It pops a little bit, but nothing like it did yesterday. Maybe it has a worse head. I don't know. I don't have a flat enough surface around here to see if the head's okay. I could always try another head on it, you know. My main concern though, Dennis, if you can let me know where to get one of those metal head gaskets for it, I'd appreciate that. It's a lot better now. I have to see what happens with it, but I can see it puffing smoke out here. And maybe it is below the head here. Maybe the jug is cracked. There's a very good possibility the jug is cracked, which is really bad news. But I'll just run it like this. I mean, this is just going to be a backup snowplow tractor. I was going to make it into a, I was going to put the snowblower on it, the snow cannon, but I wouldn't do that with this tractor. I'll just use it in the yard when it snows here before I go out and do the route. And just run it over here, and I'll pull a trailer with it and everything like that. And I can still cut grass with it. I mean, if I have it in high gear and then I just shift it to low range, I can just get away with doing that because it still wants to stall when I put it into low gear. I mean, it doesn't stall, but it wants to. So we're just going to button it up like this. I'll get a new battery because I need a new battery anyway. And I'll see about getting a hood put on it. But I'm not going too crazy with this tractor right now. But as I look at it some more today, I can see it's around the jug area and not the head gasket. So when I said the head gasket was okay, the metal one I took off, it is okay. So I just put that in stock. I'll hang it back up on the wall where this gasket I put on here was. And that's going to be it for this video. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. So I had a thought about this. Since it's the block is cracked over around this area here. So what I did was I went to Harbor Freight and I bought one of those Amos temperature guns. And I shot it. I let the machine run again for a while. This is a couple of days later anyway. And the hottest reading I got was like 325, 330, around there. Of course, when I went over towards the exhaust side here of the block, it went up to about 400 or so. And then when I went onto the muffler, it actually went to 500 degrees. So I'm thinking if I had my welder come over and weld it, I would have to take this whole thing apart, you know, pull the jug off, you know, the cylinder block off from the piston and everything like that, and have them weld it. So I looked at the JB weld. I don't have the real high heat, I just have the original JB weld, and it appeared that the temperature, the highest temperature you could do is like 500 degrees. It would withstand. Now, since I'm keeping this, I'm thinking of just trying the JB weld thing. I'll clean everything up real good, sand it all down, and then maybe I can put the JB weld on there and stop the leak. If that doesn't work, then it's going to be a matter of disassembling the engine, like I said, and have the welder come and weld it. And I don't think I'm going to be doing. I think that's it for this project for this year, unless I change my mind again. But for now, I'm going to try that, and then I'll let you guys know how that works out. Oh, once again, thanks for watching, and that's going to be it right now on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.